Sorry to burst your bubble, I know you were expecting Kimberly. However, I'm going to do the first half of this video and she's going to come in a second. So living on a homestead, our main goal is to live off the land as much as possible and be independent as much as possible. And that includes your medicinal side of life. And next to me here I have is what we call a common mullein plant. And these are very beneficial to your health in many ways. Today what we're going to be concentrating on is on the respiratory side. However, you can also use these bulbs here for fishing as well. I'm not going to get into that because we might get some censorship on that, but look into these bulbs and you'll see what I'm talking about. But today what we're going to be talking about is the leaves on these plants here. So on this common mullein here, the leaves that you're going to want to pick is on the plants that have the stem. Now if the stem is not on the plant, do not pick the leaves because they have not reached maturity. And the way you'll know is if it's not reached maturity, it won't have the stem. And those are usually only a year old. So anything with the stem is usually 2+ years old, and that's what you're going to want. And you're just going to pick up, pick the leaves that you have off of these. And now the common mullein, it's good for many things. It can grow up to 7 feet tall actually. So this is a fairly small one. Now you can also help with ear infections with these plants. They're also a potent disinfectant if you can get the oils out of it. A great bacteria killer, and basically all you need is the leaves off these plants. And what I'm going to do now is pass it over to Kimberly.
These are the mullein leaves that Andre has picked off one of the plants outside, and I'm going to show you guys how I make tea with them. Making tea is pretty simple. You literally have to boil water, but there's just a little bit more process that goes into these ones. So first things first, usually I will put my water on to boil in my kettle. You can see that I have my kettle here. I don't have it on my stove today because I don't have the fire going, so I just turn on my gas stove and have that going on high. Usually it takes about 5 minutes to boil, just depends on how much water is in there. So for these, you don't want to throw these into your kettle. You don't want to throw them in whole. I just rip them up. Usually pieces like this size is okay. And I've got 6 mullein leaves here. I usually only use 1 or 2 per leaf. I can maybe use 3 this time. Make it a little bit stronger. That's something that you'll want to consider if you are making mullein tea out of leaves. You want to make sure that you are aware of the potency or how strong it is. The more leaves you have, obviously the stronger it is. One thing that I've found this is really helpful for, and it's become my new morning drink instead of coffee or regular tea, is helping me with my asthma. This is something that can be used as a preventative, which is why I drink it every morning, or as a reactive. So when I'm having an asthma attack, I will actually drink tea. It does take a couple minutes to boil. It's not as easy as just reaching for my puffer, but I find that this really helps with both preventative and reactive in terms of my cardiovascular. And as a preventative medication, it helps me run a lot further with my cardio in the morning. So I will rip all of these up. These are the pieces that I have for my tea. I'll wait for the water to boil, and once the water has boiled, and I'll show you guys this, once the water has boiled, I'm going to drop these in and let it steep for about 10 minutes. But that's your first part of your process, and then you're just waiting for your water to boil. So my kettle, if you can't hear the noise, is now steaming. That means that it is done. My water has now reached a boil. So what I will do at this point, and you have a choice, you can pop the lid off here. What I will do usually is I will drop these mullein leaves into the kettle and let them steep. Just give them a little shake. And I'll put the lid back on just loosely and let it steep like that. You do have the option, if you wanted to, of boiling the water with the mullein leaves in it. That is something that I tried. However, I find that when I boil the excuse me, when I boil the water first, and then I have the mullein leaves afterwards, it just allows for a little bit more potency, because if you have the mullein leaves in there while you're boiling the mullein, or while you're boiling the water, it tends to take some of the nutrients out, and it's just not as strong. So I find that boiling the water first and then adding the mullein leaves, as I did here, really helps in terms of the potency of it and the taste as well. It just tastes a lot stronger instead of like flavored water. So once that's done, once I have my mullein leaves in there, I wait for about 10 minutes to let it steep, and then I would pour it into my cup. Right, so it's been about 10 minutes, and at this point I am going to just pour my tea, and that'll be it. So when it comes out, you have a couple options. Now I choose, because I don't mind having leaves in my tea, but what you can do is strain it. There are some leaves in this one, and that just kind of lets it sit there and have the extra flavor there. So that's kind of the difference between having a tea bag in your tea versus not having a tea bag. If you don't want the leaves in your tea as your tea bag, then what you can do is just strain them out, or just take them out before you happen to pour your water. But that's it. It's pretty simple. Tea is not hard to make, but this has become my new coffee in the morning, and I find myself using it instead of my puffer lately, which is great, because for asthma it's a very good preventative medicine as well as reactive. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.